Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise and honor to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the camps defending the gospel. And this is just a quick video, um, another response pretty much getting at this guy, Izar, alright, for his recent um, backbiting, if you will, alright, his recent going turncoat against the truth, pretty much, against the men whom the Lord set up, okay? And from what I gathered that's been put out there is all over pretty much disagreements. Alright, he left the first camp up in Boston. He was with over disagreement. And then apparently he had disagreements with the New York camp where the elders are at. And I don't know what exactly the disagreements were about, so I'm not going to go into that. But we all know that disagreements can be handled a certain way. Alright, we're all men in the flesh. Alright, the scriptures say in Wisdom of Solomon, the 9th chapter, I believe, that hardly do we guess aright. So there are going to be some things that we don't necessarily agree upon in certain technical aspects of this truth, I guess is the best way I could put it. But that doesn't mean that the man whom you disagree with is somehow out of the truth, okay? Alright, just because there are certain things that were being taught that you just can't see, alright? Because obviously the Most High did not give you eyes to see, doesn't mean that the men that were teaching those things were off. Because if you link up what they say with the scriptures, it matches up perfectly. Alright? You, Izar, just have a problem with authority, okay? You just had a problem with the Boston camp, apparently, from what they're bringing out. You had a problem with the elders, okay? You could have went about and done your own thing, and there would have been. It's not like they would have been railing you. You could have just said, look, like the brother said, we disagree on certain things. I don't see that. Look, I'm just gonna go do my own thing. Wish you well, shalom. It would have been all good. Well, nobody would have been saying anything about you, but because you apparently feel some type of way about the man, alright, you let that demon pretty much ride you. Now you're on the videos and on the comment boards looking real crazy. You look like a damn madman, okay? When all you could have did was pretty much kept your mouth shut. But now there's a judgment that's going to more than likely come to you because you opened your mouth against one of the men of the Lord, whom the Lord set up. Okay, I mean, how are you going to go about and call this man, Elder Gabar, a bum whom all he does is labor in the word and doctrine? Alright? And I already went into that yesterday. Alright? I already went into if I sow unto you spiritual things, is it not a great thing that I reap your carnal things? So you pretty much calling this man a bum, and furthermore, alright, since you're such a hard dude and you don't run from anything, why didn't you go tell that man to his face? Alright? I'm pretty much repeating what the brothers that you know personally said. Why didn't you go tell this man to his face that he was a bum when he was asking for money? Alright? I hate saying that. I hate saying bum and Elder Gabar in the same sentence. But why didn't you go tell that man to his face if you're such a warrior? Alright? You know all that MMA shit. You want to heel hook Esau? Esau, the Most High is gonna heel hook your ass if you keep going down this path. All right, might use an Edomite to do it. You might end up on World Star Hip Hop somewhere. But you know what? Let me just go straight to the scripture. Let's get straight to the point. Okay, this is Matthew 18:6. Further, before I go to start at 6, I'm gonna scroll down real quick because in the same chapter, this shows the protocol in which you are to handle the situation. Okay, so it says here, Matthew 18:15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee. Now, this is the point right here. Alright, from what you said out of your own mouth, the Elder Gabar did not trespass against you. All he was doing was asking for money from whomever could spare it, so he could get by. That's it. He didn't trespass against you. He didn't offend you. Alright, he didn't curse you out. Alright, but apparently, and you felt some type of way about it, so it says here, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone, and if he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. That's the only verse I really want to read out of that. You should have went to that man by himself and said, look, I don't agree with this. Alright? If you felt some type of way about it, you should have went to him man to man. Alright? You see, you obviously at one point looked up to him as a man of the Lord. He was down there with y'all's camp. You were standing by the man holding precepts for him at one point. So why don't you tell him like a man? Alright? Give the man the respect he deserves. Because you know he'd do the same to you. All those men up there would do the same to you. Alright? So you're just a real disrespectful asshole right now. The Lord's going to deal with you for that. Alright? Now I'm going to scroll back up to verse 6. It says here, Matthew 18 verse 6, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, and the little ones are all of us, alright, from top to bottom, all of us, okay, who believe in the Lord Yahushua, alright, who believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, alright, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs that offenses come, but woe unto that man by whom the offense cometh. Alright, so the Lord said that offenses were going to come, but woe unto that man who bring those offenses. And you offended a lot of brothers. You offended the elder Gabar. You offended the men that he came up with. Alright, you offended a brother in my camp, the head of my camp. Alright, you gonna come out of your mouth and say what you said about him. You came at me crazy. Alright, you've come at a whole host of other brothers crazy on that damn comment board. Okay, so you offended a lot of people. Alright, now I'm gonna actually go into this word. I know you don't like people going to the words because it'll probably remind you too much of Elder Gabar, but guess what? I'm gonna do it. Okay, so this is the Greek word for offense. Alright, and if you see here, it's scandalizio or scandalazo. Alright, or scandalizo, scandalous. Alright, what you did was scandalous. That's what that word goes back to. Alright, what you did was some real scandalous, treacherous madness. Okay, like that old song Jay-Z did. What was it with whatchamacallit, what's his name, Too Short? It was all good just a week ago. Alright, everything was all good a couple weeks ago. You were holding precepts for the man, con this, con that. Alright, saluted the brother. You con at the Passover, I assume, because I wasn't up there at that Passover. Alright, and now all of a sudden he's an Edomite. Are you out of your damn mind? You ain't even listening to yourself. There's some of the comments I'm looking at you. I'm like, you're not even listening to yourself. You're not even thinking about what you're typing before you actually go and type it. Okay? But let's look at this word. It says here, to put a stumbling block or impediment in the way upon which another may trip and fall, metaphor to offend, to entice to sin, to cause a person to begin to distrust and desert one whom he ought to trust and obey. Alright, because Elder Gabar looked at you as a brother. Alright, at one point he did, but now it's like, well, hold on, what the hell? What did I do to this dude? What did I do to him except be a brother? Alright, that's how he's looking at you. Since you want to go out of your mouth and call him all kinds of names, to cause to fall away. And here's a point which this applies to you. When I read this, I said this definitely applies to you. It says here, to be offended in one, i.e. to see in another what I disapprove of and what hinders me from acknowledging his authority. If this doesn't apply to you, I don't know what does. You saw something that you didn't approve of or you didn't like in Elder Gabar, which was the man was simply asking for money to get by. Therefore, you won't acknowledge his authority over you because he's the one that taught you. He's one of the spiritual fathers over you. Alright? He's one of the men who you learned about Israel from. I don't care what you told me on the comment board talking about you don't know nothing about me. No, Negro. Alright? No. Before you knew what Shalom meant, before you knew what a Levite was, before you knew anything about the Bible, these men were out there teaching. Okay? And guess what? You got offended over that man, over something stupid. And now you're on the internet looking crazy. Your big ass girlfriend and upstate Edomite who want to do interviews with you, and y'all conversing and cohorting on the comment boards. Come on. Let's just say those are two men, the 14th Street Fairy Queen, whatever you want to call him, 14th Street Israelite, I call him by his name, and Upstate Israelite, were two people whom not more than 1 or 2 weeks ago, you were cutting and condemning and against, and now y'all are together. Now tell me, does that make sense? Okay? So come on, man. Get the hell out of here. You're being wicked. You know you're being wicked too. Alright? You're just being rebellious. And being rebellious is of the sin of witchcraft. What do you do with a witch? You don't suffer that witch to live. Alright? So you better watch out. Because you done offended one of the Most High's men whom he set up. Alright? And the Most High does not take too lightly to that. Alright? Now, I'm going to skip down. You can see these definitions. To cause one to judge unfavorably or unjustly of another. Since one who stumbles or whose foot gets entangled feels annoyed. It says here, to cause one displeasure at a thing, to make indignant, to be displeased, indignant. Alright? So you made a man indignant at you. What is indignant? It's pretty much righteous anger. Alright, let's just go to the Webster's Merriam, or the secular definition of this word. It says here, feeling or showing anger because of something that is unfair or wrong. Very angry. Alright? Feeling or showing anger because of something unjust or unworthy. So what you did was completely unfair and wrong. That man, when he did his video, Elder Gabar did his video, all he did was address the situation. He didn't insult you. He didn't call you a bunch of names and this and that. But you, when you did your video, it was just all name calling, all emotion, crying. Alright, you finally got to exhale because you've been waiting so long, apparently. Alright, all this madness because of a way you felt about him, which wasn't even scriptural. Alright, the brother in Boston, one of the brothers in Boston, brought out the scripture in Leviticus. It says, "Open thy mouth." In fact, let me go ahead and pop it up real quick. All right, because I was watching their video and they brought the scripture out. Salakia. Let's see. It says here. Bingo. Here we go. There's a Deuteronomy, actually. Deuteronomy 15. Let's see. Deuteronomy 15:7. It says here, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, all right, you are at one point both brethren, all right, within any of thy gates in thy land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and thou shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need in which that he wanteth. What was sufficient for the elder's need? So he could be able to keep a roof over his head. You're really going to mock and scoff and slander a man because he's under the curses same as you. Are you above the white man and not under the curses? Alright? Because last I checked, we all in one way, shape, or another work for the so-called white man or up under the so-called white man. You ain't under the curses, alright? And none of us are. So if you to sit there and act like you're better than that man because you got a job and his employment isn't so hot right now, hey man, you're a real asshole. And the Most High might unemploy you. Alright? Salakia, this damn ads. The Most High might unemploy you. He's already unemployed you from his chosen men that are to speak the truth, because now you're just out there doing your own thing, all right, and scoffing at his men. He might take your job, whatever wages you earn, and then you might see Elder Gabar with some constant employment. You never know what how the Most High judge you, since that's what you want to lean on. All right, so that's pretty much been my video on this clown. All right, shalom to you brothers out there. Peace and blessings to the elect out there preaching the word. Till the next video, shalom.